My brother stopped calling after I got married. Last week, his daughter told me why, and when she said it, the words hung in the air like dust motes in a sunbeam. Quiet, still, and I couldn't look away. I'd spent years wondering, years folding his absence into the corners of my life, like a sweater I'd outgrown but couldn't throw away. Was it something I'd done, something I'd said, or had he just moved on? I'd told myself it didn't matter, that life goes on. But last Tuesday, when my niece's name flashed on my phone, I knew something had shifted. Her voice was thick, like she'd been crying. Or maybe it was the rain. It was raining that day. Rain always makes the world sound closer, smaller. She said, "Auntie, I need to tell you something about Dad." And then she told me the truth, the real reason he'd slipped away like smoke through my fingers. And suddenly, I wasn't just hearing her words. I was hearing his heartbreak. All those years ago, because of me, my brother Ben and I grew up like two peas in a pod. Really, we shared a room until I was 10. He built me a fort out of blankets and chairs when I was scared of thunderstorms. And when Mom got sick, he'd sit with me at the kitchen table, coloring pictures of dinosaurs while the grown-ups whispered in the hallway. He was my protector, my best friend, my everything. Dad worked long hours at the factory. Mom was quiet, gentle. But Ben had this laugh that filled up the whole room, like a balloon swelling with joy. And he never, ever let anyone pick on me, not even once. When I met Mark, my husband, Ben was the first one I told. We were walking in the park, kicking up autumn leaves. He'd just bought me an ice cream cone. "He's nice," Ben said, licking his own cone. "Really nice." And I beamed, because Ben's opinion mattered more than anyone else's. Mark was kind, smart. He made me laugh until my sides hurt. And when he asked me to marry him, I said yes, without a second thought. The wedding was small, just family and a few friends. We did it in a little garden by the river. Ben was my man of honor. He wore a suit that was a little too big, but he looked so proud, so happy for me. He gave a speech, a beautiful speech, about how we used to build sandcastles at the beach, and how I always made him promise to be the dragon. Because, he said, grinning, she knew even then that she wanted a knight in shining armor. Everyone laughed. Then Mark stood up. He'd had a little champagne, just enough to make his cheeks rosy. He raised his glass. "To my beautiful bride," he said, "and to her brother Ben, who taught her everything she knows about being stubborn." Another laugh. Ben laughed too, loud and easy. But then, Mark added, "Seriously though, Ben, thanks for handing her over. We'll take good care of her now." It was a joke, a silly, harmless joke. But later, when I hugged Ben goodbye, he held on a little too long. His shoulders felt tight. "I'll call you tomorrow, okay?" he said. His voice was rough, like gravel. "Okay," I whispered, and I meant it. But tomorrow came and went. Then the next day, then a week, then a month. The calls stopped, just stopped. At first I thought he was busy. Ben was a contractor. He built houses. Sometimes he'd go off grid for days, working on a project. But when 2 months went by, I started to worry. I called him, left messages, texted, nothing, not even a read receipt. I asked Mom. "He's fine," she said, but her eyes darted away. "Just going through a phase." Dad just shrugged. "Ben's Ben." But I knew my brother, knew the way his jaw tightened when he was upset, the way he'd chew on his bottom lip. This wasn't like him. So I drove to his house. It was a little blue bungalow near the woods. He'd built it himself. I'd helped him paint the porch one summer. "Do you remember that, Ben? The way the paint smelled, like sunshine and hope." I knocked, waited, knocked again. Finally, the door opened, just a crack. Ben stood there, looking thinner, tired, like he hadn't slept well. "What do you want, Sarah?" His voice was flat, cold. I came to see you," I said. "You haven't called." He leaned against the doorframe. "Yeah, well, things change." I tried to smile. "Can I come in?" He hesitated, then shook his head. "Not today." "Okay, Ben, please, talk to me." He looked past me, at the empty street. "Just give me time, Sarah." Then he closed the door, gently, but it felt like a slam. That was the last time I saw him. For 7 years, life moved on. Mark and I bought a little house. We planted roses in the backyard. Had a baby girl named Lily. She has Ben's eyes. Did you know that, Ben, that little spark of mischief? Sometimes I'd catch her building block towers and think of you, of how you'd cheer when they fell. But the silence, it was always there. A hollow space at the table during holidays, a missing voice on the phone. Mom and Dad tried to fill it. They sent photos, videos of Lily taking her first steps. Ben never responded, never asked. I tried to tell myself it was okay, that he was happy, busy, living his life. But late at night, when the house was quiet, I'd lie awake, wondering, was it Mark's joke? Had it stung more than Ben let on? But Mark was just being Mark. He loved Ben, looked up to him, even, he's like the brother I never had, Mark would say, and I'd smile. But inside, I ached. Then, last year, Mom got sick, really sick, the kind of sick that makes you count the days. She asked for Ben every day. Please, Sarah, she whispered, her hand cold in mine. Tell him I need to see him. Before it was too late. I called Ben over and over, left messages, emails, texts, nothing, not a word. Mom passed away in the spring. We buried her on a Tuesday. It rained. Of course it rained. Ben didn't come, didn't call, didn't send flowers. I stood by her grave, Lily holding my hand, and I hated him, really hated him. How could he do this? To Mom, to me, to us, but hate. It's heavy, Ben, it weighs you down. And after a while, I just felt tired, so tired. Then, last Tuesday, my phone rang. It was my niece, Chloe, Ben's daughter. She's 20 now, a college student. I'd only met her a handful of times when she was little. Ben didn't bring her around much. Auntie Sarah, her voice was small, shaky. Chloe, honey, is everything okay? No, she whispered. Dad told me about why he stopped talking to you. My breath caught. He did. Yeah. A pause. Then, it was because of what Mark said at your wedding. I sank onto the sofa. The cushions felt too soft, too false. What do you mean, Chloe? The toast, she said. At your wedding, when Mark made that joke about dads, his stutter. Oh, Ben had a stutter when he was little, a bad one. Kids at school were cruel, called him names, but he worked so hard. Speech therapy, practice. By the time he was a teenager, it was mostly gone, only slipped out when he was tired or nervous, or when someone mentioned it. At the wedding, Mark's joke, it wasn't mean-spirited, just thoughtless. But Ben had been so proud that day, so happy for me. And then, Chloe's voice cracked. Dad heard you laugh, Auntie Sarah. I didn't mean to, I whispered. I know, she said quickly. Dad knows that, but he said it felt like a knife, you know, like you were laughing at him. Not with him. I closed my eyes. I could see it. Ben's smile fading, his shoulders hunching, while everyone else chuckled, including me. He thought you agreed with Mark, Chloe went on, that you thought his stutter was something to joke about, something shameful. Oh, Ben. The name was a sob in my throat. He said he waited for you to say something, Chloe whispered, to tell Mark it wasn't funny, or to hug him. But you didn't. You just laughed. I remembered that moment, vaguely, Mark's joke, the ripple of laughter, Ben's smile, fixed, polite, but I'd been so swept up in the day, in the joy, in Mark. I hadn't seen his hurt, hadn't looked for it. He felt like you chose Mark over him, Chloe said, like you were leaving him behind, and he couldn't take it. So he left first. I pressed my hands to my face. The tears came, hot and silent. Why didn't he tell me? I choked out. Why didn't he just say something? He was ashamed, Chloe said softly, and he thought you wouldn't care, that you were too happy to notice he was gone. 7 years of silence, because of a laugh, because of my blindness, because I failed him. I sat on the sofa for a long time after Chloe hung up. The rain streaked the window pane. Lily was at school. Mark was at work. The house was quiet, too quiet. I thought of Ben, of his laugh, his hugs, the way he used to call me Sir Bear when we were kids, how he'd carry me to bed when I fell asleep on the couch, how he'd sit with me after Mom died, not saying anything, just being there. And I thought of that day, my wedding day, the happiest day of my life, and how I'd broken his heart without even knowing. I had to fix this. Somehow, I wrote him a letter, not an email, not a text, a real letter, on paper, with a pen. My hand shook as I wrote, Dear Ben, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Chloe told me what happened, what you heard, what you felt, and I'm heartbroken that I caused you that pain. I don't expect you to forgive me. Not yet, but I need you to know. That day, I was so happy, so in love, so dizzy with it all. And Mark's joke, I didn't think, I just laughed. Not at you, never at you. But I didn't see your face, didn't see how much it hurt you. I was selfish, Ben, caught up in my own world, but you were always there for me. Always. When Mom was sick, when Dad worked late, when the kids at school were mean, you were my knight, my dragon, my best friend. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you that day. I'm sorry I didn't defend you, didn't speak up, didn't see you. I miss you so much, every single day. Lily asks about you. She has your eyes, Ben, and your laugh. She'd love you. And Mark, He loves you too. He's asked about you. Worried. I know I can't change the past. But I'm here now. If you want to talk, if you want to try again, I love you, Ben. Always have. Always will. Yours. I folded the letter, put it in an envelope, drove to Ben's house. My hands gripped the steering wheel. White knuck. I walked up the path. The garden was overgrown. Ben always kept it neat. Now, weeds choked the roses. I knocked, waited, no answer. I slipped the letter under the door. Then I drove away. A week passed. Nothing. 2 weeks. 3. I tried not to hope, but hope, it's stubborn, like a weed. Then, one Tuesday morning, my phone rang. It was Ben. I almost dropped the phone. Hello, Sarah? His voice was rough, like he hadn't used it in years. Ben, I breathed. I got your letter. Silence. Then, can I come over? I looked around the kitchen. Dishes in the sink. Lily's drawings on the fridge. Mark's coffee mug on the table. Yes, I whispered. Please. He came that afternoon. He looked older, tired, but when I opened the door, when I saw him standing there, I saw my brother. Really saw him. The boy who built me forts. The man who built houses. My Ben. We didn't hug. Not yet. He sat at the kitchen table. I made tea. Weird how you fall back into old rhythms. He stirred his tea. I watched the spoon clink against the cup. I'm sorry, he said. His voice was low. For not telling you. For just disappearing. I'm sorry too, I said. For not seeing it. For not being there. He nodded. That joke. It just brought it all back. All the kids laughing. The way they looked at me. I know. I whispered. I know now. He took a sip of tea. I thought you were ashamed of me too. Never, I said. Never, Ben. We talked for hours about the past, about Mom, about his life, about Lily. He smiled when I showed him photos, really smiled. And when he left, he hugged me tight, like he didn't want to let go. I'll call, he said. I promise. And this time, he did. Ben and I aren't the same as we were. How could we be? 7 years is a long time, but we're rebuilding, brick by brick, conversation by conversation. He came for Lily's birthday last month. She climbed into his lap and wouldn't let go. He laughed, that big, booming laugh, and I closed my eyes and listened, and thanked God for second chances. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that wedding day, about the laughter, the joy, and the hurt hidden beneath it. I think about how easy it is to hurt the people we love, not because we're cruel, but because we're human, because we get so wrapped up in our own stories, we forget to look at the people beside us, really look at them. Ben's stutter is long gone, but the memory of it, it shaped him, made him kind, made him strong, made him the man who would drive through a snowstorm to bring you soup when you're sick, the man who would give you his last dollar, the man who would rather break his own heart than risk hurting yours. I wish I'd seen that day differently. I wish I'd seen him, but I didn't, and that's my regret, my burden to carry. But here's what I've learned, Ben. Here's what I want you to know. Family isn't just about the big moments, the weddings, the holidays. It's about the small ones too, the ones that slip by unnoticed, the way someone's smile fades, the way their voice tightens, the way they need you, even when they don't say it. So if you take one thing from this story, take this. Look up, look around, see the people you love, really see them, because a moment of thoughtlessness can echo for years, but a moment of kindness, a moment of courage, can heal a lifetime of silence. I love you, Ben, more than words can say, and I'm so grateful to have you back. My brother, my friend.